Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Exceptional Arsenal player agreed terms with a new club, but Gunners want replacement before he goes. Granit Xhaka has agreed his move to Bayer Leverkusen, but Arsenal are not ready to give the deal the green light until they have signed a replacement. That's according to a report from a German outlet Kicker, which suggests that Xhaka's return to the Bundesliga could be announced in the coming days. Granit Xhaka leaving Arsenal in the summer transfer window has looked to be on the cards for some time. There appeared to be something extra in how he bid farewell to supporters following the final game of the season, and it does appear that he is now ready to go. Kicker report that Xhaka has agreed terms with Bayer Leverkusen ahead of the summer window. However, Arsenal are holding off on letting the move go through for the time being. According to Kicker, the Gunners want to have a replacement through the door before sanctioning Xhaka's departure. It's a sensible stance from Mikel Arteta's man. There have been times when Xhaka appeared to be on the brink of leaving, particularly during Euro 2020, but ultimately no move would take place, and yet Xhaka returned to the fold and went on to enjoy his best 2 years with Arsenal, so the Gunners probably feel that the Swiss would make the best of the situation if a move to Leverkusen fell through. It obviously appears incredibly unlikely. Arsenal have spent the last few months being linked with some marquee midfield names, and there would be uproar amongst the fan base if they did not manage to bring anyone in. Arsenal fans clearly want Xhaka to stay. He has been exceptional, but the time has come for the Gunners to move on and step up a level, and it seems that Xhaka's departure will follow once Mikel Arteta welcomes that statement signing through the door. Journalists fully expecting Arsenal signing last summer to be loaned out in this window. Journalist Charles Watts is fully expecting Marquinhos to leave Arsenal on loan again in the summer, as he shared how impressed the Gunners were by the Brazilian shortly after his arrival. Watts was speaking on his YouTube channel as Arsenal prepare for an absolutely massive summer. Of course, Mikel Arteta's men will want to kick on after challenging for the Premier League title this past year. Obviously, with Arsenal kicking on, the level their youngsters need to reach has increased also, and one of those facing a tough challenge is Marquinhos. Arsenal fans must have hoped that they had found another Gabriel Martinelli when the 20-year-old arrived from Brazil last summer. However, there has not quite been the immediate impact made by Marquinhos. He has shown glimpses, but he ended up spending the second half of this past season on loan with Norwich, and unfortunately, the Canaries' struggles meant that the youngster did not have the best time at Carrow Road. It will not be all that surprising, therefore, that Watts expect the winger to head out again next year, but he suggested that there are high hopes for him in North London. It's obviously much too soon to know which camp Marquinhos will fall into. The situation probably looks a little bleaker after his tough time with Norwich. However, Watt's comment about the impact he made following his move to Arsenal are much more encouraging ahead of a potential second loan. Arsenal now told they can sign amazing defender for just £21.5 million this summer. Fabrizio Romano claims that Arsenal have been told they can sign Galatasaray defender Sacha Boey for just £21.5 million this summer. After missing out on the Premier League title this season, Mikel Arteta will be keen to bolster his squad over the coming weeks. Arsenal have secured their place in the Champions League, which will only add to the need for more quality depth. Ben White has excelled at right back over the past year, but the Gunners will be keen to bring in suitable cover for the Englishman, and they have been linked with a move for Sacha Boey. Indeed, Fabrizio Romano claimed just last month that Bowie's representatives had flown to England to discuss a summer move with two clubs. Now, the transfer insider has told Give Me Sport that Arsenal are well informed on the conditions of a potential move for Bowie this summer. Romano claims that Arsenal are aware they could sign Bowie for around £21.5 million this summer, but they are yet to open negotiations for the Frenchman. He said, "For Bowie at the moment, I'm just told that they are informed on the conditions of the deal, €25 million price tag. I am not aware of any direct contact between Arsenal and his agent in terms of negotiations, so at the moment it's still a quiet situation." Bringing in Bowie would certainly solve a few issues for Arsenal, as he would provide decent cover for White on the right-hand side. It would also allow Arteta to play White at centre-back when required. The 22-year-old certainly fits the profile of a typical Arsenal signing, and he had a hand in 5 goals in 31 Super League appearances this season. He could provide Arteta with a different kind of option at right back, and as the amazing defender is seemingly available at a reasonable price, it wouldn't be a surprise to see Arsenal take Galatasaray up on their price tag. Arsenal appear to be very unlikely to sign £140,000 a week midfielder this summer. Arsenal are very unlikely to sign Ilkay Gundogan this summer, with the 32-year-old set to move elsewhere. That's according to journalist Tom Canton, speaking on his YouTube channel. It was another match-winning performance from the impressive German at Wembley. Ilkay Gundogan scored the fastest ever goal in an FA Cup final, volleying past David De Gea within 13 seconds. He scored the winning goal in the second half with another pinpoint volley, following a Kevin De Bruyne free kick. Given his recent performances, it's a huge surprise that Manchester City have let Ilkay Gundogan's contract run down. He will be a free agent this summer, although journalist Darmish Sheth suggests City are now desperate to keep hold of him. Although Gundogan will have his choice of clubs, it appears to be unlikely he will join Arsenal. Mikel Arteta wants to add to his midfield and has other options lined up if they can't sign Gundogan. However, he could provide the experience the side were desperately calling out for, as their campaign ended on a disappointing note. Speaking about the German international's future, Canton said, "This guy cannot be more clutch if he tried. He turns up in the biggest moments possible. I commend Arsenal for doing their best to try and sign him on a free transfer this summer, but it doesn't seem to be that's going to be the case. Barcelona reportedly are very much closing in on the potential signing of Ilkay Gundogan. It's going to be very unlikely. It seems that he will be moving to Arsenal during the forthcoming summer transfer window. The £140,000 a week midfielder will be a valuable player for whichever club he chooses to join." Joao Cancelo detail emerges amid Arsenal transfer interest. Arsenal are being linked with a move for Manchester City's Joao Cancelo, and there is a very realistic chance the deal advances. According to recent report, Cancelo is a target for Arsenal as they look to once again add big players to the ranks. After finishing second to Manchester City, Mikel Arteta wants more quality and sees Cancelo as a player who can improve the starting 11. And according to Fabrizio Romano, there has actually been contact and talks between the parties. Speaking to Give Me Sport on a number of transfer-related issues, Romano got to the subject of Arsenal and Cancelo, and while no deal is in place for the Portuguese fullback, Romano did confirm that Arsenal have indeed been in talks with relevant people over doing a deal. He said, "For Cancelo, yes, they are interested. They had some contact and they have very good relationship with this agent. So there was a conversation over the possibility to sign Cancelo. Just how far those conversations and talks went remains to be seen, but with Bayern opting not to take up their option to sign Cancelo, a door is open for the Gunners, lauded for having incredible quality by Pep Guardiola. Cancelo is being moved on by City despite a number of good seasons. Arsenal would surely love Cancelo in their squad. He is a quality operator with experience of winning big trophies. On the surface, he very much suits the game that Mikel Arteta is playing at Arsenal. He can drift inside, attack, defend, and be versatile when needed. City might not be so open to selling their players to Arsenal this summer after last year, but Cancelo is on his way out, and if the Gunners are willing to pay, then a deal could be done here. What several agents are now saying about James Madison after claims Arsenal want him. Several agents have reportedly suggested that James Madison is valued at around £40 million heading into the summer window, after claims both Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal want to sign him. Arsenal look set for a huge summer ahead after missing out on the Premier League title, with Mikel Arteta seemingly keen to bolster his options in midfield. Both North London clubs have been linked with a move for James Madison, as the midfielder looks set to leave Leicester. Indeed, Fabrizio Romano claimed last week that the Gunners are interested in Madison, while Tottenham's interest in the 26-year-old has been long-standing. Now, the Athletic have shared what several intermediaries have told them about the Leicester star. The outlet claims several agents have suggested that Madison's market value sits at around £40 million heading into the summer window. Yet, they have noted that Leicester could get more for the England international should multiple clubs try to sign him. Madison was exceptional once again over the past season, despite Leicester dropping down to the Championship. He registered 19 goal involvements in 30 appearances in the Premier League, but it wasn't enough to keep the Foxes out of trouble. It's no surprise that he is attracting plenty of interest ahead of the summer, and he could have the choice between a few top clubs. CBS Sports journalist Benny Jacobs has claimed that Madison could decide he wants a move to Tottenham despite interest from Newcastle and Arsenal. Of course, Spurs are in desperate need of a creative player in the middle of the park, and Madison certainly fits the bill, whereas Arsenal already have Martin Odegaard. Yet, Mikel Arteta will be keen to add some extra quality to his squad as they prepare for a return to the Champions League. Madison will undoubtedly be keen on the idea of playing in Europe's top club competition, but he may be mindful that Odegaard is likely to be the first choice should he move to the Emirates Stadium. Club now think Arsenal are about to make a £70 million bid to sign outstanding player. Bayern München believe Arsenal are going to make a £70 million opening bid for West Ham United captain Declan Rice. That's according to journalist Florian Plattenberg, who provides an update on the Declan Rice transfer saga. It doesn't look like the England international's future is going to be straightforward this summer. Arsenal have been keen on the 24-year-old for some time and can now offer him the Champions League football he desires. However, when a player of that quality becomes available on the market, other teams take notice. Thomas Tuchel will have seen plenty of Rice during his time in England with Chelsea. He is now keen to bring Rice to Bayern in an effort to potentially ruin Arsenal's plans this summer. Mikel Arteta is desperate to improve his options in midfield ahead of next season. With Granit Xhaka potentially on his way out, the outstanding West Ham player could be the perfect replacement. Providing an update on Twitter, Plattenberg said, "Update on Rice due to many inquiries. There are still no agreement and there is no offer yet. Bayern bosses are preparing the next steps instead. Bosses want to fulfill Tuchel's wish. First of all, the new board has to decide what Bayern is willing to offer in the first round. Bayern is aware that Arsenal should be willing to pay around £70 million. Rice remains the internal top target. Arsenal won't make any bid for Rice until his season has finished. He is preparing to lead West Ham out in the Europa Conference League final in Prague on Wednesday. To cap off his West Ham career with the European trophy would be a huge achievement. Bayern will hope they can tempt Rice away from Arsenal and the Premier League. They are one of the only clubs outside of England that can financially compete with the likes of the Gunners. The Hammers will be encouraging a bidding war between the two clubs this summer. They may even prefer that Rice moves to the Bundesliga so they don't have to face him again next season. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.